Okay, good afternoon, all. I hope everybody is well. So it is Monday, the 22nd of February. 2 more days and we'll be in March already. Wow, it doesn't seem 5 minutes since Christmas. It's gone really quickly. So, okay. Quick recap. How you doing, bud? Well, it is what it is, isn't it? It's not the first time. So look, last week, I had a funny week last week. I had a comment, as most of you know, and it's just, I don't know, comments don't usually bother me so much, but some just get under your skin a bit, don't they? And they just, I'm all for criticism. I mean, it's you guys can say anything pretty much. I've never had an issue with anybody, but sometimes you get just a dig, a bit of a mean comment and a little bit of a dig. Roger. All right, Roger, how you doing? I know you're going to miss us. I did miss you. No, I had a little bit of a nasty comment. Usually I'm pretty good. I mean, I'm 53 years old now. I've been it, seen it, done it. But usually things don't bother me. But it was like a little knife and a little dig. And there was just no need for it. If there's genuine issues or there's genuine things, I'm all for. I mean, for the first 12 months of my trading, I put my chart on the Facebook group and asked for criticism every day. Asked for feedback because I like feedback, because the way I see it, feedback from more experienced people help me learn more. But sometimes there's just a bit of a mean dig, and I had one, and it just got inside my head, and I felt really down. Strangely enough. I'm pretty good with controlling things, but I just felt really down, and it stuck in my head, and so I thought I'll put something on the Facebook group, and just, I'm thinking, am I really struggling? Am I really, see, I thought I was doing okay. I think I'm above average. And, when I'm in the right frame of mind and I know good setups. And I just started to question myself, and that's why I don't like nasty negative comments. And I started to question myself, and I put something on Facebook, and I had a load of great support and great comments. Because sometimes, even at my age, you need a little bit of a lift. Things can get to you sometimes. But I had some great comments, and I had a good think. I look back on some of my charts, and I'm thinking, well, I do okay. Trading so much isn't my issue. It's the psychological side of it. That messes with my head. When I'm nice and calm, I can see a good trade and a good setup. But obviously, sometimes the demons get in your head a little bit, and you take a bit of a loss or something, and something goes wrong. But it's stuck in my head. But luckily, as I've said before, 3 days, and I tend to bounce back, no matter how bad I feel. And I had some great supportive comments. Sometimes you just got to, ask for a bit of help. Sometimes, I've got no issues with asking for a bit of help, whether it's sort of, supportive help or physical help. I don't mind. I've got no problem with it. I'm not that proud. If something's not right, if something doesn't feel right, I'm quite happy to ask for help and just say, look, give me a lift here, guys. I'm struggling, you know what I mean? But I had some great support, and I had dozens and dozens of great comments, and it gave me a really bit of a lift. So here I am. So I had a few days off, had a nice weekend, relaxing weekend. I worked on my psychology side. I actually had a chat with that trader over Facebook, the performance coach, and I've got a few little tools which I'm going to help. My issue, purely and simply, is when I take a couple of losses, I feel hard to sort of get away from it where I need to. It's the only way I'm ever going to succeed in this business is if things go wrong, I have to walk away. So I've got a few new tools to help deal with those feelings you get. One is to talk about them, even if I'm on air, just to talk about them and say how I'm feeling, and try and get them out in the open rather than let them sort of manifest. So there we are anyway. So I had a good weekend, and yesterday I thought, no, I feel really good. I feel positive. And I just thought, no, I want to carry on. I want to get straight back in there. You do need a break. And I had 3 days off, and all's good anyway. So I feel good anyway. I feel nice and positive. And I've got 2 Apex evaluations here. So I thought I'd try 2. Resets are cheap at the moment. It's the last day of the half price reset, so I thought I'd have a. We'll see how we get on. So, Wood, how you doing, mate? Jim, how you doing, Jim? Toad, how you doing, Toad? Roger, I missed you too. Nice to see you. Nice to see you, Roger. Nice to see us older folks. There's more of us older folks. Random Wolf, morning, afternoon, evening traders. Have a great week. Yeah, let's hope we do. Let's hope we do. Alex, right, okay, that's a new one. Alexenti, something like that. Have we seen you before? That name doesn't ring a bell. And if we have, welcome. Where are you from, by the way, if we haven't spoke before? I always like to find out where people are from. Leading loser, hope you're well, lads. I am. I feel good, mate. I had a couple of nice single malts over the week. Just had a really relaxing weekend with the family, and spoke to my wife about it as well. And I had a chat with her, and as I say, I'm not proud. I'll ask for help. I'll ask for advice. I'm not one of these ones that keeps it bottled up inside. I don't believe it does you any good. Sometimes you've got to just get it out, talk about it. You know what I mean? So all's good anyway. You and Miss Matt, thank you. I was homeless for a couple of days. So yeah, I don't think I could have waited a week, to be honest with you. I do like having a chat with people, as you well know. I'm certainly not shy of bumping my gums a little bit. So, Jonathan, how you doing? So, what's happening so far? Okay, market is about to open in about 10 seconds. Now, we've had a couple of legs. So, whether this is going to turn into a range, I did mark this, and it sort of sits more on the tops better, but the trouble is, what I don't want to do is think about going long here, although it's has a couple of pushes up, because I don't know yet. It's a bit too early. It hasn't really been confirmed whether this is a trend yet. It just could be 2 pushes up and a range. So I wanted to be careful about going long here, just in case this was a range. So I took it off. Nowhere to rant. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, market is officially open. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening here at the moment. It does seem to be a couple of legs. Looks like it. I'm not sure whether we're going to continue up, see, because we've had a couple of pushes, but it is a bit too early to start. Let me just see where this does finish. Okay, this is not set in stone, by the way. It's just be interested to see what happens here. But it's not confirmed yet, and it's easy to focus on, okay, I'll keep long, but we could be coming back down, and it could be a range, so it's a bit too early. So I'm going to leave that there, but I am aware that it is early. It fits really nice on the top, but the more important thing is the bottoms, really, because obviously this is where we're gonna be taking our trades if this is a trend channel, which I'm not convinced it is. It does look like it's moving up, but if we're in a range day, it's going to move up. It's going to move up to the top, and then but it's so it is early at the moment. Looks like a couple of legs there. I got to really try and focus on not taking poor trades. I got to focus on taking good quality trades, because it tends to get me in a bit of a pickle otherwise. So it could be a bunch of things. It could be that. It's hard to say at the moment, so I'm not leaving anything there that is going to lead me into taking a poor trade. So one leg. Let me just put those legs back. Because that looks to me like it may be a couple of legs. Now there is a second entry long there. I kind of like that.
Order submitted.
Let me just see what happens. I think it might be a bit early, isn't it? Let's have a look. I think it's a bit early to shove that in there. No, I'm going to cancel that, even if it does.
Order
it has
cancelled.
triggered. I don't want to jump in there, because that's the problem with putting these in too early. Although it seems to sit lovely, I could get trapped here. So let's not be hasty. Let's just sit tight and see what happens. Let it sort itself out a little bit. But it's just a little bit risky. It's going a little bit sideways. It could be a range, and it also may not be. Now that is a higher low, but it's struggling. The EMA is flat and it is struggling. So I'm going to do the sensible thing here and just stay out. Because that's triggered and that's triggered, and if it comes down and stops below this and comes down to this measured leg which I've drawn, it's going to stop out any longs. Market is bearish, but I expect to get to 40, 45 area up here. I did have a look on the daily quickly, and the daily is looking grim. It's looking like we've got some sort of downward stuff. So I did wonder whether we'd have a couple of pushes, then would we start to work down? But early days yet. But it's congested there. See, so we've had a couple of what looks like two legs. It's not come down as quite far as I'd have liked. But the trouble is taking that second entry long. I'm not convinced we're in a channel yet, and it looks like, there you go. If anybody did get in there, or at least there, I think that was a risky one. Then it's just stopped out, so that's why I left that, because it's just nothing's really confirmed. So I'm just going to remove this a minute, because it's easy to get focused on an uptrend when we might not be in an uptrend. Okay, so there's been a couple of legs down there. Actually, that one, there's been two legs up from here, from the open, and it's literally gone to the nearest tick. So I don't know whether we're working our way back down. It's hard to say at the moment. It's a bit morning pros. I spoke to you before, haven't I? You guys have got to start putting easier names for me to use. So I could call you pros for short, but pros over in the UK is short for prostitutes. I don't really want to call you that. So I know you are anyway. So more than all anyway, yeah. Markets like to have a strong pullback, in my opinion. You would have thought so after two good pushes up like this, wouldn't you? But having said that, we've had a short-term trend channel. We've had a break and a new high, and it does seem to be. It's just too early to tell at the moment, isn't it? We could. I thought it's possible there was a bit of a channel, but we've had a break of this, and so it is a bit early. Given the strong move up, yeah, it's had two measured legs up. Let me just have a quick. Let me just drag this out of the way a minute. Let me just have a quick look at the daily. Just close this down. Have a quick look at the daily. I looked at Marco's video he did yesterday on the week ahead. So where's the hell's the daily gone? Daily, okay. Right, so it is possible now. There's a higher low there. It is possible that may be a trend channel, and we've had a break of it and it's pushed out. I'll put it back in for a minute just to give us an idea of if it does push up. But we've had a low here, which is a tiny bit lower than these two legs, and there's a higher low. The trouble is it's under the EMA, and the EMA is facing down a little bit, so it could be. We could get a sort of a second entry short and come down, so I don't want to get trapped going long at the moment. SW Blaze, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Jacko, how you doing, mate? How you doing? Let me get back to this daily. Let me just see. So this could be a failure. So I think I'm trying to think if there's any shorts there. There isn't really. Could be a failure, but it is a bit congested, isn't it? And I think it's a little bit unsure what we're doing. So, Jason, I think the fail section might be good here. Well, that's what I thought. Obviously not now. So, yeah, it's just a little bit confusing as to what's happening at the moment. So let me just get rid of that again. In fact, I'll tell you what, let's leave it there. But let's take the colour down a little bit because I'm not convinced that it is. It fits lovely on the top. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's not really confirmed as such because we've just come sort of straight through it sideways. So it's a bit early yet. Okay. I'm just going to drag the daily in quickly. So as we know, we've had this downtrend since the beginning of last year. And we've broken above it recently over the last sort of couple of weeks or so. We've had a high and we've gone a little bit sideways coming down, but then we've had one push, which could be a leg. So just wondering now whether we're likely to retest the top or whether we're going to come in here. But we've had a push up here, so it's hard to know exactly what may go on today, but it's a little bit sidewaysy, so we could come down. We could do anything, to be fair, so let's get rid of it. It's not really telling us much. There is a downtrend that fits pretty good at the moment. So, yeah, well, it looks okay. See, let's get rid of this because that will, yeah, that seems to look okay, doesn't it? I think it fits. It all fits really nice in there, actually. Touch. There we go. It's sort of sidewaysy, but down a bit. So, see, if you were trading crypto or stuff like this, you'd call this a bull flag. Then I'd expect it to retest here. So, let's just see whether we get any type of a something like. I like to do this just out of interest to see if I'm thinking along the right lines. I'd expect somewhere in the region of that if we did this push up. See, I do swing trade a little bit of crypto as well and stuff like that. Can often tend to go down there and quick push up. Yeah, it's just not very clear at the moment, really, is it? So, incidentally, while we're looking, it's the last day of the retests. I've had a couple of them. So, they're $40 at the moment. So, if you have, unfortunately, blown an account, you can reset it for $40 at the moment. So, if that finishes today, so personally, you can take the 50% off, but I would say it's likely we'll have another good deal sometime soon, I would have said. And I'll tell you why I believe that is obviously I get a kickback off this. It's about 15%. So if you guys spend, say, $40 on a reset, I'll get $6 from that. Now, when we have the 80% off, I'm getting half a dozen a day. And when we have the 50% off, I rarely get any, which tells me Apex sell way more when they have the offer. And the trouble is, the more they're putting this 8% offer, the less chance people are paying this, because I tend to wait for the offers now. I won't pay 50% anymore. I've spent too much on this. So I would have said it won't be long before there's another 80% off. So if you can hold them, don't get me wrong, if I'll get a cutback, but I'd rather you not chuck money away. I'd rather you wait for the 80% off. So I would say, if you don't need one straight away, then I would wait for the 80% off. But if you have blown account, bad luck, But if you are signing up, make sure you don't pay the full price and get get it for $40. So it's there if you need it anyway. But I would say wait. Okay, this is my target here. So whether we'll have a break and come back down, but I'm guessing we may break this high. But there is a second entry short there, which is looking damn inviting. One leg, two leg. Looking tempting, that is. But I do see this bull flag pattern quite a lot. It's quite a big old chunky old bar, isn't it, tomorrow? I believe it's midnight tonight, mate. I will check. But I believe it's midnight tonight. But it's only good if you've blown an account. So there is a second entry short there, which is engulfed that. The only issue that I have is the market is just not clear at the moment, and I see this pattern quite a bit. And when I'm looking at some cryptos and stuff, I'm not a pattern person, but I do see it now and again. And sometimes when it does that, it comes down, it shoots out the top. In this case, it doesn't look like it's going to. And that second entry short looks like it will make your points. Hopefully. It's just a bit unpredictable, the market at the moment. Yeah, okay, so if you'd have taken that, I'm just a bit unsure what's going on here, see? I don't know whether we've had sort of something like this. The reason that I looked at it a little bit is because it does fit very nicely at the top, and it's what fits a couple of times there, fits there, but it is really too early to do that. So I wasn't, I was concerned whether we were going to go sideways and then make another high, just one by the pattern and just purely because it's just, I'm trying not to take trades at the moment. I'd rather try and figure out what the hell's going on because it's not clear to me at the moment. So we are likely to go visit 3980. You think down here, do you? Yeah, I'm just not sure at the moment what's going on. I'll go films. Trade copier is so glitchy. Just took a trade, went in my direction, and the other account went the other way. Yeah, I had that problem myself, mate. What happens is, I'm guessing, if you took a short, you brought your stop down, yeah? One of the accounts triggered, the other one didn't, yeah? When you took profit, it hit your stop, it created a buy order. I had the same problem myself. So what you need to do, see, I've got these open here. So if I say, let's say I take a sell limit order, yeah, it shows here both of my accounts sat there waiting, yeah. Now, if only even one of them triggers, the other one will still sit there. And what happens is, as you bring your stop back and it hits your stop, it does the opposite thing. It creates a buy order. So I have these here. So if only one of mine, if only one of them, see, that one is 90, that one's 91. So if that one should trigger first, which is my lead account. So if it triggers and you still got one there, sat there, you need to close that one down.
Order
like that.
cancelled.
That's your spare one in there. So just have a think about what I said there. But I've had that before. So if one triggers and the other one's still sitting there, it acts as a buy order when it hits your stop. I know, I'm not a fan of it. It wound me up when I had it. I had a bit of advice here, but I had to contact Apex and find out what was going on, because I don't remember Daryl mentioning that in the videos that I watched when I bought the trade copier, and I think they do need to cover it, but I've not seen it. Most of that is eliminated if you use true ATM brackets. Yes, I'm not sure about that, bud. I'm not even 100% sure what true ATM brackets are. See, I've had some people say use limit orders. I've had some people say use stop orders. Now, if I look at Wilson, I've spoke to Wilson about this. And he has 20 accounts and he uses a trade copy and he doesn't seem to get any problems. And I don't quite know why. He uses limit orders a lot. So I was under the impression that you needed to stay away from limit orders. So it's by no means problem free. And it can really stress you out sometimes when you're spending your hard-earned money and you're trying to get it to work and it's just messing around. So I think I think Daryl needs to go out and make another video or discuss it, because it's just going to piss people off. And once word gets around, people are going to get nervous about buying it. And obviously, if they want to sell this product, then they need to provide a little bit more information, because they don't support it. And they're not really so much interested if anything goes wrong. Having said that, I did email a nice lady called Marion, excuse me, and she sorted it out. She explained what happened and refunded my, let me get rid of that, and refunded my, the amount I lost. Just then, let's try to instruct this, can't place, take profit. Yeah. Yeah, so the way I think I can get out of it is I've got 2 on here, 1 positions, which shows me the positions. So that should show me that I've got 2 accounts trading. And that should show me if there's anything sat there that didn't trigger. So if let's just quit that again.
Order submitted.
Okay, so they're both there. Now, if one of these triggers, the top one is the lead account. If that triggers and this one doesn't, this should still show as sat here. And then if it does, what you need to do, now Daryl says right click and close all, but the trouble is, if you're in the middle of a trade, and if you've taken a trade, you might be in profit, and you might be working towards profit, so you're going to lose it. So what I tend to do is, if that one's triggered and that one's it isn't, I just
order
shut that one
cancelled.
Down. That way it doesn't accidentally trigger
Order cancelled
as a buy order from when it hits your stop. So as you can see, it's a little bit complicated. You've got to think about it a little bit. So I'm a little bit nervous about doing 2, but there are evaluations, so I'll be more peed off if I'd had PA accounts. But that's why I have those there. That shows me the separate orders, and they're over there near where my eyes are, because I don't like taking my eyes off for trade, to be honest with you. So yeah, so when you get an order ready, it should show there. If one of them triggers but the other one doesn't, one should be left. Just shut that one down. In other words, that's the one left that didn't trigger, because if you bring your stop down for the one and you don't notice, when it hits your stop, it'll pick that order up as a buy order in the opposite direction. So if you're coming down, all that's going to do as it comes down and you're in a buy order, it's just going to take your other accounts deeper and deeper in the red. Okay, so we've had this short-term trend show, we've had a break in a new low. Now, this to me is a bull flag, so I'm expecting it to get up here at some point. So I'm just going to pull this round here. Now I drew a circle here where I thought it might get to. So let's just draw that back. So it was around about here somewhere. So I reckon it's obviously going to be a bit further over, but just this bull flag to me was a push down and a push up. But you get the idea anyway. Once the account gets out of sync, it makes it harder to be successful. So sell more accounts. Well, it's bloody wrong if that's the way they think about it, because all it's going to do is, good news spreads, but bad news spreads a lot bloody faster. So you've only got half a dozen people here to see that the people are having problems, and it puts them off buying it. Yes, I did, Tyler. Yeah, I just had I had a nasty comment which just stuck in my head, and it just put me in a bad place. And so yeah, it happens, mate. So I've had a break. I've done a little bit of psychology work. I've just had a load of good support and some good supportive, helpful comments. So I'm expecting to get above here now. I'll have to see your backlands. Thank you, Tyler. I appreciate it. So the thing about my stream is you get to see everything, the good and the bad. And I think it's important when you're learning, because if you're seeing other people struggling, you don't feel like you're on your own so much. But the trouble is, a lot of people, when they post stuff, they only tend to post the positive stuff. They don't tend to post the the frustrating, negative, blowing your accounts, just feeling down type stuff. But that's the beauty about trading literally live. You get to see everything, and the good and the bad. So yeah, all you got to do is just try and learn from it, and just try and push further. I started reading a book over the weekend called "Isn't it The Best Loser Wins," something like that. And I also spoke to that Creeder, the performance coach on Facebook. And I've just learnt a few tips from her about naming your emotions. So my emotion for what I feel when I lose more than one trade is called frustration. Not the best name, but it is what it is. So I've got to say it out loud when I feel it. So my issue is when I get 2 losses. 1 loss I can deal with. When I get 2 losses, just something seems to go wrong. But it's trying to identify. It's trying to identify it while it happens. So look, okay, let me just put that back quickly. I saw earlier this looked like a trend to me. Now, it was a bit too early, and we had this break. We had this little channel coming down, and we had a break, and we had a new low. And this, to me, looks like it's going higher. I'm expecting a test there. So we've come down here, and we've had a first entry. Is that like a failure? I don't know, but I'm expecting to retest these highs. So this is just what I'm seeing at the moment. So you might not call it a trend. It was sort of a trend, but there was 2 legs up. But I took it away because I didn't want to get focused on taking a longs in. If I would have done, I'd have got stopped out there. So 1 leg up. I'm expecting another leg up here. So there's a first entry there, and there's a second entry, but I'm pretty sure this is going to push up and break this high, but could have got in here, but it's a little bit too far from the EMA for me. It's all right, Tyler. It happens, doesn't it? It happens. You just got to try and get on with it, haven't you, and get round it a bit. Anybody who's been trading, maybe more than 6 months and they've lost a bit of money, we all know what it feels like. So that's a break and technically a new high, although I do believe we're coming up and retesting this. Well, that's what I'm seeing if this is any type of a channel, which to me it sort of looked like. But it's hard to say at the moment, but I'm expecting a retest of this, or a new high, shall I say. Unfortunately, there wasn't really any type of an entry here, and that technically, short-term trend channel, we've had a break and a new high, so it has actually played out, although I think we're going to break the highs from this. Sorry, the channel, the bigger channel. It's sort of fitted nice. See, we had this, it looked like 2 legs, and I looked at this, and that's a second entry long off the key entry point, and it actually engulfs this. The problem there is this trend hasn't really been confirmed. So although that's 2 legs, taking a trade from there be a little bit risky, because you might say it's confirmed there, but we got this little bit of a trend here, and it's still a little bit early to identify what's happening, but I think a lot of people will look at that and think there's a break and they'll expect a new high. But it's a sort of a trend, but a bit of a, I don't know, it's a confusing one. I prefer to break this high. I did look at jumping in here because you could say that's a first entry, but it's just a little bit too far away from the EMA for me. One leg, I'm expecting it to reach this, break that high. And I'm guessing it's going to be very similar. Yeah, okay, so if that breaks that high, it's hit that measured leg. So this is what I think. I see it breaking a new high. Yeah, breaking a new high from here, 2 legs up, and also from this sort of bigger channel, really, because we've had this, we've had a break in a new low. We're in a mini range. Yeah, I'm guessing we're going to get maybe another tick. We've got a new high. Okay, we've got a new high there anyway, so yeah, this is all I was looking at. It sort of kind of, see, it touched a couple of times. It did a few times here, touched a couple of times there, so it looked quite good. And then obviously we had these. So it's looking pretty good, isn't it? So, but because it's not hit it 3 times and bounced off it, I'm a little bit dubious about taking that. And there was sort of another one there, but then it's a bit confusing. And there is something coming down here, so it's a bit confusing. So for me, I still think we're going to retest the tops, which we have. We've made a new high. And we've had this short-term trend channel break and a new low, new high, sorry. So that's what I put there as the, so I'd like the tick higher to touch that. Close enough anyway. So yeah, that's a new high from this one. Obviously this has played out, made a new low. This short-term trend channel has broken, made a new high. So it is a little bit confusing what's going on here. So let's get rid of these so we can see a bit clearer. It's a bit too early to draw bigger channels or bigger trend channels. It's just confusing at the moment. Not convinced it's an uptrend. Reversal, we shall see. Yeah, I mean, I had that. I'm not convinced either. But just the way it played out, I would have said I'd expect to retest these highs. Because if you think about it there, it's beautifully there. But we've obviously got this trend, haven't we? So it's just hard to say at the moment. That's why I've left it alone at the moment, because it is a bit confusing. It's not really anything at the moment. In fact, there's not a huge amount of volume, I've got to say. There's something going on today, is there? Because there's not a lot of volume, really. I'd expect a bit more than this by 12:30, well, after the market's opened. But I've got to say, there's not a lot of volume coming in because I'm guessing because it's confusing. If I'm confused, you guys are confused. I'd say there's going to be a lot of other traders confused, which is why there's probably no volume or lower volume, because people aren't sure what to do. There's a second entry long there, but way away from the EMA, and this channel's played out and the measured move has, so I'm unsure what's going on. Just wondering, will there be any shorts there? Because that's played out. We've made a new high. And it's hit that 3 times in the same place. So I'll be surprised if there's not some shorts in there. So if it breaks above there, make a little bit of a quick movement. There we go. So I'm guessing there was some shorts stuck in there. If you thought that was a trend, see, we've obviously broken the high there. We've had a break and a new high from this. It's hit 3 times in a row. Measured moves played out. So I'm guessing there was a few people who bought into that, who sold into that, hence that little push. So now, what is going on? Okay, that to me. Let me just remove that. There has been 2 legs there. I've got Friday's highs up there, just in case it reaches it, but there may be a couple of legs up, like 2 leg. There was a second entry long there, which is sort of sat at this top. The trouble is, do you really want to go long there? It's hard to say at the moment, isn't it? That's played out, see. 418's key, is it? We're there now, mate. See, there might be a couple of small legs here. I'd say we're likely to hit this Friday's highs. There could be 2 legs there, 1 leg and 2 legs there. Also could be a couple of smaller legs in there. Does look like we're moving up at the moment. It's not quite what I expected, actually, just the way things have been looking lately. I don't know what it does that. Let me see if there's any type of a bigger. I'm guessing if it keeps going, there's going to be a bigger pattern in play. It's too early at the moment. Yeah, no, let's just remove that at the moment. This looks like there's some type of a channel in play, I suppose. I don't know. It's a bit early. Let's go from the other way. Could be a bit like a spike in a channel, maybe. Interesting to see if this does break this high or have this leg, because it's going to be up here. I'm not going to leave this in. I'm just guessing that it may be something like this. This sort of seems to... I kind of like the angle that it's going up at. A bit of a spike. I'm just going to feather it out a little bit so it's less prominent. At the moment, we're in this smaller channel here, which is fitting quite nice, actually. 1 leg up. I'm expecting to get up here, maybe to the Friday's highs and possibly a leg. So I'm tempted if we can get some form of something down here to go along there, because that channel seems to fit quite nice in there. We've pushed up a little bit. We've had a few little sideways down, then we've pushed up again. So we do seem to be in this channel. Possible measure move to 25. Yeah, that's where I put up there. It does look like 1 leg and a little bit of a pullback, and another leg. But it could also be 2 little legs in there. That looks like 2 little legs. Trouble is, sometimes when you get these these smaller channels, they often don't get back to the EMA when they have a break, and you don't really get an entry. Didn't really come out anyway, to be honest with you. So I wouldn't consider that a break. But there is two smaller channels in there which we know we've had a push up and a break. So, but I'm guessing this area here. Okay, there's yesterday's high. Friday's high. So I'm guessing this measured move. This will probably give us an idea of whether this channel is in play, if we can sort of turn it there or something. But yeah, that's the thing, bud, isn't it? Quite often the case is we sort of got a good idea. I had a good idea where it was going, but no entry really. And it's, if you're just going to go, I think it's going up here. I did think because of these legs, but trouble is, just randomly jumping in, sod's law then, that will decide to get a break down to the EMA, stop me out and go exactly what I thought it was going to go anyway. So that's the reason we sort of have these areas to get in. Unfortunately, sometimes when you can get like that, what's that? That's 20 points, isn't it? Unfortunately, there's just nowhere to get in. It's just frustrating. Yeah, it's gone up 20, 21, 22 points. It's frustrating, isn't it? But that's where that patience comes in, which I'm working so hard on. I do wonder whether I have. I'm trying to. This woman I was sort of watching over the weekend. There was the discussion about how long you should trade for. So also as well, I had a suggestion about setting a little alarm every 15 minutes just to sort of, it's like meditation, isn't it? Just to be aware of how I feel, what's going on. It seems that it's important to be aware when you're trading. Trouble is, you almost get into like tunnel vision, don't you? Where you're just solely focusing on the bars of the market. You're not sitting back and remembering to breathe and being aware of your emotions. So I'm trying to incorporate that a little bit. Whenever I think about it, I'm trying to take some breaths and think about how I feel. I have a notepad and a pen near me as well. And if I have any strong emotions, I'm going to write them down and say them as well. It's supposed to help, and apparently naming them as well helps, because it disconnects that. When you name it out aloud, it disconnects that connection to those emotions, which is sort of pulling you along, really. But if that makes any sense, I'm sorry if I'm rabbiting on. But I'm more of a talker than a thinker. Okay, so that's made a measured move to the nearest tick, I think. So whether this might be a way, obviously we're gonna have a pullback at some point. You can't just keep going up like that. So whether this is an area or whether we're going to come down here, but it is still a bit early to be taking trades based on this channel, because it is a bit early. But obviously every time it goes up and it comes back higher. So I'm guessing that we may have another pullback. The trouble is, you don't know how far of a pullback you're going to get. That's quite a big one, isn't it, before we go higher? So you don't know whether we're just going to have two legs to here, or whether we're going to come here, or whether we're even going to come straight past there. It's a bit early at the moment. It's hard to know what we seem to be working up in some fashion, but it's not very clear. Certainly not clear enough to take a confident trade. It does look like we've had a spike in the channel. Touching here a couple of times, touching here a few times, but it's still early. I think that's risky because that could be one leg. Doesn't look like two legs to me. I like to have two legs or at least a second entry. Okay, that could be a second entry long. I just don't like this. Having said that, if you call that a short-term trend channel, we've had a break in a new low, so maybe it is. Maybe it is. Let's have a look. Let me just remove them. Okay, short-term trend channel, break, new low. I need this to push strongly down here. And then up again. Anyone going to take this second entry long? I'm assuming you're about that one with you. Yeah, there's just nothing there at the moment. It's getting a little bit congested. I want this to go down here really and finish to go up. We pretty much know where it's likely to go. Yeah, it's just risky. You really want that to break down here, at least the level of this, if not lower. But look at that now, we've got 4 back to back, so you might tick above, come down here, and then pretty much know where it's likely to go. But it's so easy to tick one over here. It ticks up, comes back down, stops you out, then pushes up strongly, and yeah, it's congested, isn't it? Just quickly, while I think trades I take during this stream are purely my opinion, not intended to be copied. Not that you'd be stupid enough to copy my trades lately. Also not interpreted as any type of investing or financial advice. Trading can potentially result in significant financial loss, and therefore any decisions taken by you guys are at your own risk. I'm not a financial advisor, far from it, and this live stream is purely for entertainment purposes only. So there you go. Arse is covered. It's looking bullish. It is. I'm guessing at some point, if we break out the bottom of here, then I will be going along there. Get down here somewhere, and then just might not give us. It's only quite a small little sideways, isn't it? There's not a lot. Could just pop out anywhere really. I think we pretty much know where it's going to go, don't we? Retesting up here. Thing is, I remember Mac talking about this once. Sometimes it'll tick above here, come down here, stop out anybody that's going along, and then form a nice big bullish bar. Algo Films. Yeah, I think I don't know about you guys, but I've watched a bunch of the Apex videos on the trade copier, and I'm pretty sure I haven't seen anything that mentions sometimes if a trade doesn't trigger, it can act as the opposite trade. So if you're short in and you bring a stop down, and if one of your trades hasn't triggered, I'm pretty sure I haven't seen anything that mentions that. So I might post something on Facebook actually, because I'm not a fan of it the way that happens. But when you look at people like V Wilson, who trades 20 accounts, just doesn't seem to have a problem. So I really don't know what the answer is. Yeah, this is what I mentioned earlier about people taking longs in here. I saw a video Mac made. In a lot of cases, it can tick above, come down, stop you out, push down here, push up, nice and bullish, and off it goes. So that's the danger of taking trades in this sideways stuff. I'd much prefer to take them right down here, go looking upwards. Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier about Mac. Sometimes you get in here, it'll go up a little bit, come back, stop you out, and then rocket straight up there. One leg, two leg. I'm also not trying to get too focused on going in one direction and be a bit open to the fact that it could. A couple of days where I've had issues. I took a trade the other day. I was watching a channel the other day. You might remember. I think it was on the Thursday or something. And I was convinced the market was going to go lower and take out the stops. So although the market was actually going up, I had it in my head that we hadn't had a break, and what I should have done is there was sort of like a small break. Yeah, see if you'd have taken any of those, well, that one, you may have put your stop there. So yeah, I was focused that we were going down and making a new low. And when I actually sat back after, I'm thinking the market's just going up in steps like this. And I'm still thinking about going low. So I adjusted the downtrend a bit, and there was what looked like a small break. But I think what I need to do is just, if we have a small break, just, assume the fact that that's a break and a new low, so I don't get trapped and too focused in going in one direction, and be open to the fact that, it might not work. We might not make a new low, and what I got to try and do, because sometimes you can get like blinkers on and get blinded. The market's clearly going up. So what I should have been thinking is the market's going up, regardless of what I think. The market's going up. The EMA's facing up. I need to be focusing on long trades, or if I'm not sure, I need to be just sitting and waiting until I am sure, until something looks clear a bit. I was that focused that we're going to make a break and a new low that I had blinkers on almost. So sometimes it's really easy to get stuck in a certain frame of mind, and you're missing what's going on. Okay, so short-term trend channel here. So I was thinking that if I was going to go long, it would be from the bottom of here. But it's just a bit, I'm not convinced. We don't have to make a new high. We've sort of already had a bit of a break here. You could adjust that chart if that's what I'm thinking. So we've had this bit of a channel, haven't we? You could say a bit of a break and a new high. Or it could be 2 legs down and push up a new high. It's just sometimes it's confusing and it's hard to know what to do really. But this looks like 2 legs down, doesn't it? So you would think we would make a high, but it needs to come down to 14.18. Yeah, it does look like 2 legs to me, doesn't it? I have not quite as low, but if we have a break of this channel here, then a push down, then trouble is I'm not just going to take a bounce off here. I'm going to wait for a higher low or something. But you know, I like to think we're making a higher than this, but it's very easy to get too focused on that and get sucked into a bad decision. It looks like 2 legs, doesn't it? But short-term trend channel, we had a break and a new low. Short-term trend channel, we had a break. We haven't had a low. Are we going to get one? Are we just going to push high? Are we going to break this high? It's just unpredictable at the moment. I'm not really sure what's going on at the moment. We seem to obviously be making some sort of in an upwards direction, but it's not clear areas to take trade really. Just could do anything really. It's not very clear, is it? Just draw a bigger. Okay, let's get rid of that. We know we've hit that yesterday's high, so sorry, Friday's high. So let me just take this down one fraction. So this may be new low from this. It's just a it's hard to read at the moment. One leg, two leg. Two legs. It could be one leg, could be another leg. It's hard to say at the moment. It's just it's looking suspicious. Maybe yeah. You just don't know, because you look, it has pulled down sideways, and this high is lower than this, and this high is lower than this. So I could rock it up and get this, or it could just come down. It's just it's unpredictable at the moment. We've had the short-term trend channel. We've had a break and a new low. Short-term trend channel. We've had a break. Could we get a new low? It's possible. The tops are getting lower. Perhaps the bottoms are. Let's have a look. It's possible. They're sort of more shallow they are. I don't think they're as reliable, but I expect to tag this one below. It's just hard to know what's going on at the moment. We had what I would say the same earlier I mentioned about the bull flag. Goes up sharp, comes back, and then rockets up. I thought it was going to do it about here. I had that circle about here, but I expected a push higher than this. We seem to be getting sort of the same, don't she? We seem to be getting the same thing, so I'm just wondering whether we've had this push up, back to here, push up, back to here. But it's just, I don't know, I'm just making sort of, I don't know, educated guesses at the moment. Nothing's really set in stone, but let me just remove these a minute. Short-term trend channel break new low. Short-term trend channel break new low. Yeah, it's not clear, really, is it? I don't know what's going on. Anybody else have a clue what's going on? I'm just not sure. All I will say is we seem to be moving up in some form of fashion, but it's not very clear. I'm not even convinced this is a channel. In fact, what I'm going to do is get rid of it. It kind of looks bare without one now, doesn't it? And maybe just put one line in there. See if that has any bearing. No, you and me both, Jason. It's just not very clear. You know, just purely from the pattern, we've had a push up and then sort of a correction or a little, I don't know, a little channel down, and we've had a break in a new low, then a push up. Maybe we'll have the same, a little bit down here, a little bit of a break in a new low, and then up again. But I don't know if you've ever looked at the 5 minute. Strangely enough, I looked at the 5 minute earlier, just out of interest. Oh, the 5 minute makes a difference earlier on in the market, because you know the 5 minute might have a similar look to this market or the 2000 tick chart when the general market's open, but I looked earlier, and obviously there was a lot more movement than there was on here. Obviously, because the general market wasn't open for general trading. Al Brooks is big on it. The trend is super easy to see. Excuse me a second. Just going to take a few minutes break and make a cup of coffee, and I'll be back. did I miss? Okay. Let's get rid of that. Hey, Sam. How you doing, mate? How are you doing? Let's open this up now. Let's remove that. That's if you connect the swings from the overnight lows, you have an uptrend bigger. I don't think we do now, mate, do we? The market's just tanked. So look. You on about here, are you? Let's have a look. You on about there, are you? It's hard to say, isn't it? It's hard to say. It's not one I can follow, is it, at the moment? It's hard to say at the moment. Oh. Okay, there's it. In fact, there's a small gap there. Sort it out pretty quickly. Wait, yeah. Oh, we're going to get a long. I'm not convinced we're going long. I don't know whether we're coming. It's hard to say at the moment, isn't it? Not this channel. You're about there, are you? I did have something up there, to be fair. I had a... I think it was that. I had that, I think. Something like that. But obviously it's broken out of it now, so... it is what it is, isn't it? It's hard to say. The trouble is you can keep drawing stuff, and it's just hard to... I don't know what's going on at the moment. No, it's not very clear at the moment. Let me just get rid of that. Yeah, it still could be sort of ranging, really, couldn't it? It's definitely something around there. I don't know what's going on at the moment. It's not clear. I'm wondering if we've got like a spike in a channel or something. It's a shame you couldn't draw these to where you want it to come. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? I wonder if we will break here or whether we will come down and retest these overnight lows in the open, maybe. It's hard to say, isn't it? Maybe a spike. I don't know. It's not very clear at the moment. The reason I said a spike in channel because it sort of fits at the moment, doesn't it? But it's, I don't know. It's just so hard to place this, really, isn't it? You got 16 points, have you? Well done, mate. Where did you go? Up here, did you? It's bounced right in the midline. So I've got it drawn from top to bottom. I'm not 100% convinced this is I don't know, it's not making much sense to me. Could be a spike in a channel, but anybody know when rollover is? Is it towards the end of March, is it? Or does it come earlier? I can't remember now. Mid-March, yeah, it's usually around about a week before, isn't it? Something like that. Okay, so look. Try to go once, try to go twice, second entry short. It's hard to predict at the moment. I don't know whether this is a bigger channel and we've had a break. It's hard to say at the moment. It's not very clear, that's for certain. You could draw it like that. You might say we've had a break, expect a new low. It looks like it's moving up to me. It's hard to say. Could be a, you could come down. It could be a second entry short. It's just doesn't really make much sense to me at the moment. And while it's not making much sense, it's part of the 17th, is it? Okay. It's just unpredictable. Ooh, that's so tempting, isn't it?
Order submitted.
Second entry short. I'm not convinced I know what's going on, in all fairness.
Order cancelled.
Break, try to go once, try to go twice. That's a failure. It's also a second entry short. No, it's not. Yes, it is. If you go from here, yeah, it's just unpredictable at the moment. It's a lot of sideways. It's easy to get caught out in this sort of shit. So I'm staying out. Is it going lower? I'd probably say so, but I don't know what's going on at the moment. So I'm not going to get into a trade. As much as I'm pretty sure it's... I like that bar. It looks like we've got some sort of trend. We've had a few pushes higher, but it's not coming down like I thought that might have done as it's triggered. And it's quite a... what is it? It's 3.5, 4 points if you put a tick above it and below it. It's just sideways that to me now. I'm not 100% convinced what this is like. This channel to me doesn't really make much sense. Could be... oh, bollocks. Get back there, you little shite. Could be like a two-tiered channel. That would sort of fit. Two-tiered channel. I'm not 100% sure what it is at the moment. It's you go from these two swings. I'm not convinced. Confusing. Yeah, it could be a bunch of stuff. I tend to go from these sort of two swings which are giving me that angle, which sort of fits. But am I confident enough to take a trade on it? I don't know. Who knows? We are in a range at the bottom of a big upward channel. We're in a range at the bottom of a big upward channel. You think this is an upward channel? Where are you on about going from here, are you? We could be, mate. We could be. It might turn out to be something like that after a while. It's just hard to say, isn't it? That could be the overall. Trouble is, you just until we sort of get some more. I mean, you could say that's right, but obviously we're trading on a much smaller scale, so it's very easy to, let's leave it there, but let's take it down, tone it down a little bit so it's less. Let's change these a bit. So we got some sort of a... That's a bit clearer, isn't it? Okay. Zoom in a bit. That's a bit clearer, isn't it? Yeah, okay. We certainly could be doing that. That would work. Fits pretty good there. Fits along there. Tops fit pretty good. Trouble is, sometimes it's hard to. The trouble is, obviously, the decisions we're making here are obviously within all this. So yeah, it could be something like this, and it may continue to go up. But the trouble is, we've had this sort of bit of a trend here almost. I'm not convinced it is. We've had a bit of a break, so I'd expect maybe a new low, and that may knock this thing off. So it's hard to say. Potential uptrend with potential downtrend. Yeah, it's just. I'm not 100% convinced that I'm going to base my decisions on. You know what I mean? Because it is just. It's not clear at the moment. We may just come down. So I've gone from those two swings there. So whether that's right or not, I don't know. It seems to be sort of fitting here, which means we've had a bit of a break, and in which case I expect a new low. But this is all just pie in the sky at the moment. I'm not sure about anything. So a bit of sideways and a drop. Let's see if we break this new low, then where we go. Okay, that's the new low. Excuse me. Yeah, there's a bit of a channel down here where I've gone off these two swings, and it sort of fits in a strange way. Doesn't look terrible. You do get some odd ones like this which sort of fit, and if you look, this section you've got like two tiered, which fits really nice in this midline, and then we've had a break and a new low. So let's see if we now move higher. If this is a range, or whether we come down. It's possible we could come down here, in which case it's blown that uptrend theory out the water. So if we push up above that EMA, we have had a leg down there. May get another one. Not sure at the moment. Hopefully, if this is valid, then it may push back up. Yeah, why there's congestion B, yeah, because no bugger knows what's going on, which causes sideways movement, doesn't it? I think you've got to be confident in the fact that it isn't short. Yeah, absolutely. Where we're going, yeah. No, I'm not. I've marked that there because a couple of people have mentioned it, but I'm not basing my trades on that because it's probably one of the most messiest, bigger uptrend. I only tend to put uptrends like this in at the end of the day, or maybe 3/4 of the way through the day, just to see if it does. But the trouble is, I mean, you could put trends anywhere, really, couldn't you? You know what I mean? It's, you know, it can get confusing. Thing is that you would think then, well, okay, let's see if is this a break. So then, do I have to adjust this down to here then? Or, you know what I mean? So it's not clear really at the moment. Now you could say, well, it's pushing back in, but at the moment I'm seeing there's a range, a little bit of sideways stuff. So let me change this colour, see if we can make it a bit. Ooh, what do we go for? What do we go for? Let's go for something. Ooh, slate blue. Oh, let's have a go a bit of that. Very nice. Yeah, at the moment we seem to be going sideways, so I'm unsure exactly what's going on. Let's do it. Oh, we could go down to 3992. Yeah, we could do. There's a load of some sideways around here. Some support down there. It's just unpredictable at the moment. I wouldn't say what I see that trend is valid. It might be, but it's probably going to be later on in the day. It's just too early to you know what I mean. or not. What would we do without you, mate? I like you always follow. I think it's going to do this, but it might not. It's like when you realise you've said something, you got to go in and cover your arse just in case. Okay, well that is pushing. Whether you say it's pushing back in this range or not, in this channel, to me it's just pushing back in the range. See what happens here. See if it stalls here and comes back out. If it does come back to the bottom, who knows? Take responsibility, mate. Own it. Take it on the chin. Yeah, I don't know what's going on at the moment. I know it's choppy. Got to say, when I started trading this system, 18, 19, 20, sort of 20 months ago, a year and 3/4, something like that. I don't remember it having days like this. I think I came in at just a nice time, and to be fair, we mostly got uptrends. If I can remember rightly, I can't remember much of this. These really tough, choppy-ass days bouncing all over the place. I can't remember much of this at all. So, if obviously, with the way the economy is, which has caused these market conditions, if you can learn to trade this, or at least learn to be patient when you're trading this, when things do get back to normal and the economy stabilizes and interest rates get back to around about the 2% where they should be, hopefully we might get back to that nice, slow, steady, upward movement. Obviously, when things sort out and the S&P starts to stabilize, people get more confident in the businesses involved in it and start getting back into it, then hopefully we may start to see some clearer days, some cleaner days. But at the moment, it's just bouncing all over the place. Yeah, it's just hard to say, isn't it? So we've had a push up, we've had a break. So, if you're thinking, if you're in the camp that we're going higher on this range, if it comes back and retests in, you get a couple of legs down. In fact, there you go. There's your first entry. There's a second entry, technically a second entry. If you're in the camp that we're going higher, you may be thinking, okay, well, there's a first entry, there's a second entry. Back to the EMA. Maybe we're going to make a couple of legs up. But I'm not convinced. Wish I was. At the moment, we're ranging. We've had a little bit of a breakout. But we have here. So we may be going up higher. But it's just... I'm not convinced. I'm trying to wait till something jumps at me and says press the button. I would prefer a second. If we can get a second entry off here, just with the way this is fitting here, then I may go long, because I do like the fact that we've had a leg, and if we can get two pushes down to this, or even forget this, just to the EMA, then maybe I may go long there. I'm not a massive fan that we're using this. We could be, but what I am is a bigger fan of taking a second entry off the EMA when we've just had a short-term trend. If we get a push down here, drop below here a little bit to here, and then push up, then I'll definitely go long there. And if I do go long there, I may even drag my order up here somewhere. There's a lot of congestion around here, so this is going to slow prices down, but I'd certainly be interested in maybe taking a bigger swing on this. Right, let's see if anybody's taking this as a range and they're going to short that. So, touch. Maybe so we can get a second entry long. If we can drag a few shorts into this, maybe. You're bearish until... Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what I am at the moment. What I do like is the fact that we've had this short-term trend channel and a break. I'm expecting a new high. EMA's facing up at the moment. If we can get a decent buy, a decent bullish bar here, then I'm quite interested in going along there.
Order submitted.
Trouble is, you could get trapped into a failure. See what it looks like. More bearish if we are lower than. I kind of like this. See how it finishes. Now, I know it's at the top,
Order
but I
submitted.
like the fact that I'm expecting another push up. It didn't actually trigger, actually. Go on, trigger. Trigger for me. There we go. It's triggered. Okay. Now let's see if I'm going to get trapped here. I kind of like the fact that we've had... If you're saying we got this channel, we may have. But we've had a lot of pushes down. We've had a break of this in the new low. We've had a short-term trend up and we've had 2 legs down. So it's a second entry long there. So I kind of like it. Too big for you. What is it? 2, 3, 4, 5. It's only 2.25 points. It's actually not that much, to be fair. I got in at the close of it. But I do like the fact that we may have had a break out of this. And we've had a short-term trend up and a second entry long. See what happens anyway. EMA's facing up. And it's sitting right on where people think this trend channel may be. So I don't know. We'll see. See what happens. Let's have a look. All my accounts are working, so that's good. That's 90. And that's 90. 91. 91. Okay, so those are the ones that would be to cancel if they didn't trigger. But they've all been working and they're all accepted. So I'm all right with that. I'm all right with that. Leg 2 leg. So that is the second leg there. Just trying to think where there's likely to be some congestion. There is quite a bit here, but there's a lot all the way down here, so it's not a massive risk. 3.25 bars. $325. It's not huge. I got my max loss. Well, my max loss for the day is about $800. So that would work. Probably Trap City, but there isn't a bearish bar there. I wouldn't said there'd be anybody going short there, to be fair. We've had one leg up and a second entry, so I expect another leg up. We shall see. Yeah, it is a more of aggressive trade. I'm just kind of liking that the fact that the EMAs, we've had this push up. I don't mind a little bit of sideways and coming back to here, but we've had this push up, a little bit of sideways. I expect another push up. EMA's pointing up at the moment. Once we get above here clear, I think we're good. I'm comfortable. I'm happy. I'm in the trade. Yeah, it's got a little bit of congestion, but I still think we're going to have I see this pattern all the time. Push up, sideways push up, and it's going up slowly, isn't it? EMA's facing up as well. So I'm all right with it. There is some resistance. It might take a bit of time to get through it, but I'm all right with it. One leg up, two legs up. Got my order set at 5 1/4 points there. About 21 exponential moving average. It's holding along here, isn't it? And the EMA's holding it. Well, it might come down and get me, but the EMA's holding it for me.
Stop filled.
Okay. Well, there we go. Yeah, see, sometimes that's why sometimes these bigger channels can lead you into a false sense of security. If I didn't have that, see, yeah, we've had a push down and some sideways. So that's the trouble, is getting into these bigger trends, and they can lead you into thinking it going long. Do you know what I mean? Good afternoon. Good morning to the Yanks. Okay, so if we're in a range, we're at the bottom of the range. Do you buy the bottom of the range?
Order submitted. Order submitted.
Small risk. Trouble is, we have had a bit of a breakout, haven't we?
Stop filled.
Okay, risk. I'm doing what I said I wouldn't do, aren't I? Okay, all right. Okay, see, that's the issue sometimes about having drawing a bigger trend. To me, there wasn't a bigger trend, so if you draw that, it's very easy to get stuck in there. Oh, it's very easy to get stuck in there and think, oh, we're going higher. Push it in, retest this and push in, but look what's happened. See, that's why it's a mistake drawing these bigger trend, because that plays no role at all in this. It just messes around your decision making. Do you know what I mean? So, Take it easy. I'm all right. Okay, actually. Yeah, that's the trouble. Okay, so yeah, so don't try and get into bigger trend channels in here because they can just mess you around. I did put this earlier and had a look. It'll take us down this bottom, wouldn't it? Okay. I said if I lose 2 in a row, I would pack in for the day. We've been going 2 hours, so I think the sensible decision would be to get out. So there you go. I thought that one. See, that's the trouble. Once you get these bigger trends in your head, I shouldn't have driven it. I notice fairly has happened from me, mate. I shouldn't have. That's the trouble. Sometimes you read comments and you draw these things, and it's easy to say, "Oh, we got this," but it's to me, it actually does nothing. To be fair, all it does is you have this break, and you think, "Oh, we're going to push in." 2 legs back, bounced off this bottom, and then you think push up, and you can get trapped. And that's why drawing these trend channels, I should have ignored it really, but that's why drawing these trend channels, especially when something's all over the place like this, they can just lead you into making bad choices. So that's down on me, that is. So, okay. I'm going to, in fact, I'm tempted to fade this range.
Order filled.
We've dropped out the bottom of it. We've had an overshoot and dropped out the bottom of it. I did say I was going to pack in, but let's see what happens here. Well, for me, we had a push up, a break. Usually, after we've retested one of these, we have a break and a new high. And we had a break. We had 2 legs down, beautiful bar, ended on its high, second entry long. I'd expect to make another leg out of that. See if we can get to the top of this. Get us back out of it. Now that is starting to look like a short-term trend channel. Well, that wasn't. These are tops and bottoms to me. That to me, what I saw there was a short-term trend. Usually we have a break and a new high, which we did, but to me it was a second entry long. First entry, second entry. It was a second entry long. EMA facing up, big bullish bar on its high. I was expecting a second leg up, which is why I put this. So It wasn't so much stacking when I took that. It was just one push down, and that. I mean, we're coming down there, and we had this second entry long here, so that's what I took. See, this looked like a trend channel to me. We'd had a break in a new low, so we'd had one push up, second entry long. I was expecting to move back into this area here. Yeah, it was a failure as well. I thought it was okay. I expected another leg up here. But I suppose the market's just confusing at the moment, to be honest with you. I don't know what to say now. Well, I thought I'd try this, fade the range, see if I get out of this or not. You and me both, mate. You and me both. There is a possible failure. We'll see what happens.
Stub filled.
Okay, well, that's that. Okay, that's it for me today, guys. It's just clear. Something's clearly not working at the moment. So I'll be here tomorrow. Have a good day, and I will catch